Everyone, welcome to the show. So, convicted felon D'Souza, sorry, he's finally admitted that his so-called documentary, that piece of work called 2000 Mules, yeah, that was a work of fiction. If you're not familiar with that ridiculous movie, it's essentially an election denier's wet dream. It was just filled with bogus, disproven data about the 2020 election. Well, he was able, meaning D'Souza, was able to manage to convince uninformed MAGA men and women that Democrats used human, quote unquote, mules to deposit thousands of fraudulent ballots into mailboxes and drop boxes throughout the country. So this is a practice known as ballot harvesting. And in some areas, it's perfectly legal. You can pick up other people's ballots and drop them off. But he claimed that these were fraudulent ballots, that these were not legitimate, and that this was all a crime. So he made a lot of money. He duped MAGA with this film, just rolling in the dough. According to the company that distributed the film, which is Salem Media Group, it grossed more than $10 million in revenue. And then he made even more money because he sold a companion book to the film. Well, as with all grifts, they must come to an end. And so things started to unravel as the facts started coming out in court, and because of a defamation lawsuit that was filed against D'Souza. So in May of this year, 2024, Salem Media Group pulled the film. They pulled it from distribution, and they issued an apology to the man who filed the defamation lawsuit. So you guys will recall, if you've been following the story, it's a Georgia resident. His name is Mark Andrews. And so Andrews was featured in the film. They had surveillance video showing him dropping off 5 different ballots at a public mailbox. Well, Andrews was just depositing his own and his adult family members' ballots. He was dropping off his wife's ballot, and then he has 3 adult children with whom he lives. They still live in his home. So this was completely and totally legal. But in the film, D'Souza told the audience, oh, see what he's doing right there? That's a crime. And his face was blurred in the film, but they showed his unobscured image in promotional material, and his license plate of his car was also visible. So as typical, that we've seen over the years with MAGA and in the age of Donald Trump, Andrew started receiving threats. He started getting hate-filled messages from all of Trump's terrorists. So Salem reached a private settlement with Andrews. D'Souza, though, was still refusing to come clean. So Andrews' lawsuit against him was moving forward. It was looking like it was, inevitable. They were going to go to court. Well, reality must have come crashing in. D'Souza must have realized, I'm actually going to take it in the shorts. I have zero chance of winning in court because, he had no real evidence. This is what we've seen over and over again with Carrie Lake, with, Rudy Giuliani, with Mike Lindell, with Sidney Powell. None of these people can actually bring any facts to court with them that prove their ridiculous conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. So D'Souza just admitted this whole thing was based on fabricated data. And he kind of, sort of issued an apology to Andrews, so I'll read it to you and let you decide. But D'Souza posted this pseudo apology on his website, and it says, quote, I apologize to Mr. Andrews. I make this apology not under the terms of a settlement agreement or other duress, but because it is the right thing to do, given what we have now learned. While I do not believe Mr. Andrews was ever identified by the film or book, I am sorry for any harm he believes he and his family have suffered as a result of 2000 Mules. So, did you catch that? He said he's sorry for any harm Andrews believes he and his family suffered. So he's still not admitting that, yeah, I actually harmed him and his family with my lies. Um, and then, in addition to this half-assed apology, D'Souza also wrote, quote, True the Vote provided my team with ballot Dropbox surveillance footage that had been obtained through open records requests. We were assured that the surveillance videos had been linked to geolocation cell phone data such that each video depicted an individual who had made at least 10 visits to Dropboxes. We recently learned that surveillance videos used in the film may not have actually been correlated with the geolocation data. So, complete and total bullshit. As Rolling Stone news outlet pointed out, D'Souza knew that this information in the film was complete BS a long time ago. So, first of all, Andrews was investigated and cleared by the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. That is the state arm of the FBI. That happened before 2000 Mules was released to the public. He did nothing, didn't take it out, didn't bother to correct it. Then second, True the Vote was forced to admit in court that the data that they provided to D'Souza was false. So I did a video on that almost a year ago. So I'll link to that at the end of this video if you guys want to check that out. But I mean, on top of that, he talks about this geolocation data. Basically, they showed that people with certain cell phones were passing by different Dropboxes multiple times. I mean, call me crazy, but if you have a job or if you're taking kids to and from school, yeah, you're going to take the same routes, right? You're going to take those same routes to and from your school or to work or the grocery store or wherever you go in your neighborhood. Yes, you're going to pass those same locations multiple times. That does not mean you're committing election fraud. And that's what they really kind of hung their hat on with this whole ridiculous video, this supposed documentary. So what's funny is when I posted that video almost a year ago about True the Vote, putting, basically having to admit that, yeah, this is kind of BS, and yeah, this was the basis of that whole film, I got a bunch of comments from diehard MAGA fans, and they claimed I didn't know what I was talking about. They kept saying, oh, 2000 Mules proves it. This is definitive proof of election fraud. They're seriously out of their minds. And I have no doubt I will get more of those comments, more of those very laughable comments below this video. Because even when their heroes admit to things like this, they still won't let it go. Just cannot let it go. But it's not a cult. Not a cult, you guys. People are so afraid to be wrong. Their egos are so fragile and just on a knife's edge as it is, that they just cannot admit that they were wrong and that they got played. I mean, just seriously, grow up, get a life, realize that everybody falls for something at some point. Everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. People will respect you more if you admit it than if you hold on to this BS and allow yourself to continue to be played. Then people really think you're a fool. So anyway, yeah, we all knew it was a bunch of BS, and now he's admitted it. So we'll see what happens. But, Trump called it one of the greatest documentaries of all time, or most important, or something like that. So, yeah, the masks are falling off. Anyway, I would love to know how much he has to pay Mr. Andrews. I don't think that we'll ever find that out. We didn't ever find out how much the media company had to pay him. So We'll see. Maybe someday it'll leak, but I hope he got a lot. I hope Mr. Andrews and his family never have to work again in their lives. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like this video. Please share it everywhere and with everyone you know so they understand that all of this is finally coming to a head. You know, they kept saying for years, the truth is going to come out. The truth is going to come out. Well, guess what? MAGA was right. They were right. The truth has come out. All right. And please subscribe if you have not. If you can donate, truly appreciate it. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.